All right, guys. Hey, welcome to our first official video, our inaugural video for R.A.R.E Reviews, which stands for Rock Album Reactions, Rankings, and Reviews. And these episodes are going to be all about just taking you down the path of some of our favorite music, and we're going to be open to requests, etc. I'm going to start by introducing myself. I'm Jason, and this is...
The other host, Jason.
And we're just a couple of music fans, hard rock fans, metal fans, all that good stuff. So today, hello, welcome. Welcome to the official video. So we were thinking we would, get into some Motley Crue to start our official video with the Too Fast for Love album.
Why not start off with one of the raunchiest bands ever to come out of the 80s?
And that's why we picked it, because we thought there'd be like lots of crazy stories and content and all that stuff. We have a little background with the Crue.
I would love, when you said some stories, I would love to hear how people first got introduced to the Crue.
Yeah.
Because we first got introduced to the Crue back in '85
in grade school, grade 7 of all things.
yeah. When you think these guys were smoking dope and drinking themselves silly, and the lineups of women that they have and whatnot.
Kings of Sleaze, they were called in Cream magazine and Hot Hit Parader back in the day.
Here we're a bunch of innocent 12-year-olds, and we're like, these guys are the coolest thing since sliced bread.
The raunchier the better. It was funny. So like 1985, we're in grade 7. I've got some history with Van Halen, and Jay comes to the school. He's like, hey, have you ever heard of the Crue? I'm like, no, not really. He showed me the album Theater of Pain, and from there I'm like, what the hell is this? Actually, Jay, I remember I brought it home. I played it on the turntable, and my mom was like, that's druggy music. And I was like, no, this is cool. She's like, that's druggy music.
We all got in it because we thought like Vince Neil was hot or something. And it was like...
Yeah, he was a cool kid back then. No, so they were glammed out, but then we went back into their catalog as we really got into them. We formed a little Motley Crue grade 7 group with a couple friends, and we were their members, and we actually would do air bands on our lunch hour in the cafeteria.
Every lunch hour. We were the entertainment.
And we would, the kids would eat their lunch. We'd jump on the tables, put on this air band show. We had cutout guitars, drums made out of tires.
It was awesome.
Yeah, we rocked.
Yeah, we signed autographs and everything. It was like good times.
We thought we rocked. But we did take it to some more official air bands, believe it or not, and blah, blah, blah. So from there, we started getting into their back catalog, Shout at the Devil. And today we're going to talk about their initial release, Too Fast for Love. And I think we picked that one. It's a good place to start. The movie just came out a couple years ago, The Dirt. And, what can you tell me about what you think about that album, Jay?
Well, that album came out in November 10th, 1981. Over 40 years ago.
Already, time flies.
And when it first came out, it was vastly different from a lot of the rock that was out at the time. It had a punk flavor.
Yeah, it did.
But it had like a sleaze, just the beginnings of sleaze. It was very
it reminds, dirty. Yeah, it's almost like the first Guns N' Roses albums where like it was just kind of loose and raw, and that's what was beautiful about it. It was just not overthought like stuff today, not overproduced in a computer. Just a couple of meatheads writing an album, eating pizza in a room.
It's almost like, when I listen to that album, it sounds like they used the same drum, the same guitar, the same bass for every song.
Yeah.
Because they're very consistent. Whereas, like you said, nowadays things are overproduced. They've got different guitars tuned to different. Yeah. And they're using violins and pianos and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And the highlight for that album for me was the cowbell.
Yeah, there's a lot of cowbell in that album.
There is a lot.
I love that.
Who doesn't like more cowbell?
Yeah, and that's from the Livewire video, which we'll show you guys in a sec. Tommy Lee hitting that cowbell. Their look was crazy. Like it was leather, it was glammy, but it was more like street. It was cool.
When you look at that you think back, okay, they have flavors of Kiss. That's another band that we'll be reviewing at some point.
Yeah.
But you look at Nikki Sixx, he's lighting himself on fire. They're doing the pyrotechnics that a lot of bands were just getting into, and they really wanted to take it to the next level. They were more of a theatrical band.
Yeah.
I mean, they had the chops, they could play. And back then, Vince could really sing.
No, he really could.
Well,
Whale.
he could sing.
He was a banshee.
Yeah, he could sing better than he can
but
now.
what's really cool is new wave was big. The Knack, My Sharona, blah blah blah, and then kind of 70s rock and punk was kind of done, but they had this blew the door open to kick 80s hair metal. So that's kind of where it was really starting off.
I would love to do a reunion
of what?
Of the guys that got together to do the Air Band.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if that's ever going to happen. But
it was
the
fun.
invitation's out there.
There you
if
go.
you're watching, you know who you are.
We know you're going to watch this. We know. Okay. No. So with further ado, let's check out a little clip of their very first video, Live Wire. It might be a little cheesy compared to today's standards, but
there's nothing daunting about that.
And they just explode on the scene, eh? It's just rocking up.
It's funny, every band that starts off, the singer's always shirtless. And then as the years progress, they wear more and more clothing.
Yeah, too much good food maybe. Yeah, no, so the thing that was cool about this was I think Vince took a page out of David Lee Roth with the blonde hair, the front man, and they're all in black, and he's blonde hair with red, and they're wearing all black.
Yeah, yeah, the contrast was there.
Yeah. So they thought about these little things
to really stand out.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for the cowbell. See, and the fog, the smoke machine, just all the little extras in the video.
Yeah. No, it was rocking. It had energy. It was loose, but not overproduced, which was cool. Funny enough, this is the album I love putting on to lift weights to, more than any of their other albums. Really? Yeah. It's just got that energy, that bug, and it's not like pounding, but it just makes you want to work out.
What song would you say is your favorite on the album?
You know what? The other day, Public Enemy came on, and I was digging that. Just the early parts of it.
You know what? Mm-hmm. That's not even on my top 5. It's not.
It's just the first half of the song I like.
You know what? I can't say that any of the songs on the album are bad. I like them all.
Yeah,
they're all good songs.
Yeah.
So you were saying that you liked Public Enemy. Because I was saying that there's no bad song on the album. Every song resonates with me. But if I was to rank them, and I'm not going to rank them all because I think there's really 5 that stand out more for me. Okay. I was just curious to see where you sat with your top 5, if you've thought about that. I've got mine already prepared, so I'm happy.
Yeah, a lot of people go to Live Wire, and Live Wire is awesome, but because it's so played out, I would go more like Take Me to the Top or On with the Show, Piece of Your Action, somewhere around those tunes, because you don't hear them as much, and they're wicked awesome tunes. Okay,
so you've actually hit all the nails on the head. For me, it was Live Wire, and I picked Live Wire simply because it is the go-to track. I mean, it is the second most played song in their set list. To date, as of this video, they had played it 1,378 times.
Wow.
And the only one that they played more than that was Shout of the Devil. Okay. That's what they're, they hit to the scene, and that was what brought them really into the status of heavy metal.
Yeah.
And they played that one like 1,404 times. So that's not much more than Livewire. So Livewire, their first album 40 years ago, that song has been played every tour.
It's just perfect. It's starter song, kick the door down.
Yep, absolutely. And,
I would.
It's got cowbell.
More cowbell.
Yeah.
You're making me think of that scene by on what's his name on Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, with Will Ferrell.
Yeah.
More cowbell. But so if I was to say my second favorite song, definitely Piece of Your Action. I was like, that song for me, very aggressive, and that was like the sleazy song of that album.
Takes a second to get into it, but then it really
revs it up. It really revs up.
So just from another song from that album, Take Me to the Top, we have the US Festival a couple years later, 1983. I want to hear how that sounded live. Just another one just to react to.
That was my number 5.
Okay, so let's check out Take Me to the Top from Too Fast for Love. So this is the big festival, and this is them coming on.
There's a few people in the crowd.
Yeah, just a couple. There's Tommy.
a tattoo-less Tommy, pretty much.
Yeah, this is before they had all their tattoos. Here we go. Vince.
See, look at them. They looked awesome.
Yeah, this was cool.
They look like someone your daughter would want to date. No?
Not mine.
I wouldn't let my daughter date them.
But because of our background with this, when I'm in bands and stuff, I always feel like attention has to be put to detail to the image.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It's a piece of the puzzle.
Yeah.
Because you can go, the music is going to be obviously what people go for, but the showmanship that they have on stage is right up there. Because like they said during the grunge era, you don't like to just be standing there looking down at your shoes. You want to be looking out to the crowd, making eye contact.
I relate more to this kind of show, the energy.
And this part right here, this gets me. This is like the classic Kiss. Choreography. You can't have a successful band that hasn't had some kind of choreography on stage. Look at the Backstreet Boys.
Someone was asking me, they're like, was Motley Crue the Justin Bieber of your time? And I was like, hell no, I don't think so. Far from it, I would say.
The Justin Bieber of our time.
Not really, though, right?
Did we have a pinnacle band that was...
Let's pause it here.
Taking me to the top?
Take me to the top. No, man. Everything you're seeing these people do now, like, trying to act like badasses and whatever, be the bad boys in music. It all started from these guys. It's all right here.
I think the 80s in general had a looseness to them because everything was blown wide open with the introduction of MTV.
That's true.
And people were really trying to capitalize on like seduction. Like you look at like even just like what you stopped on. No matter where you stop in this video, you're going to see something that's going to be eye-catching.
Yeah.
And that's what videos did. And they really took it that much further. Motley Crue, I'm saying. Like they, when you hear the stories, I mean, there's bands out there that have all these stories about when they're on tour and they're throwing things out the windows and they're torching things on fire. And the tour managers are responsible for having to come back and take care of the damages and whatnot.
Yeah.
But I don't think any bands, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm sure someone out there has probably got a band story from a band that you listen to that's even more raunchy or stories are told.
Oh, for sure.
But for me, Motley Crue was that raunchy band that had all the stories. They checked all the boxes.
They did it because
sex,
that's
drugs,
who they were.
rock and roll, debauchery. It was off.
Raunchy music.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Underproduced. Yeah. Yeah. No, just to add to that. And I think to this day, it's like any time I see a band or something, that's kind of set the bar, like the baseline. at least for some of those things. Like you want your music to be a little dangerous. You want it to be different than your parents. You want it a little edgy.
Yep.
You know, so
can you name me?
All right.
The 2 songs
Yeah.
that were on the album, came off the album. It was the
Stick to Your Guns.
Yeah.
Toast of the Town.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, you got it. Okay. Here's an even tougher one.
Okay.
What was the one cover
Okay.
that was added onto the album in the 2002 release?
Whoa.
They had a cover.
Damn. You got me on this one.
And it was actually played live 3 times.
You did your research.
Of course.
It's not Anarchy in the UK.
No, that was way.
Yeah,
I think they've had almost a cover on every album. I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. But it was Tonight by the Raspberries.
Okay, so that's their song. I've heard it on Spotify. Yeah.
So it was originally done by the Raspberries. Didn't get the date on when the Raspberries produced it, but that is a cover, and Motley Crue did it 3 times.
Okay, I thought it came off Shout because I heard it on the demo thing, but it does sound like Too Fast for Love, that loose sound. No, go ahead.
Do you know that Nikki Sixx did not sing anything on that album? Or at least he wasn't credited for it.
That's weird.
Yeah, wasn't credited for it. On every other album up until just after Generation Swine?
Okay.
He had singing, backing vocals and whatnot, but on that one album, nothing. Mick Mars did.
Yeah, that's
Mick Mars, Tommy Lee,
weird.
Vince Neil had vocals and backing vocals.
What's funny about the Crue, you never hear a lot of harmonies too. It was always just gang vocals. Hey,
Yeah.
Like Led Zeppelin though, 4-piece, same thing. There wasn't harmonies in the music really. So, in rock, do you need it? Not really.
Okay, I'm gonna pull one. Sorry, I got to do this.
Yeah, go ahead.
What's your least favorite song on the album?
I gotta say, Merry-Go-Round Around. It's just, yeah. I don't know what they were thinking.
That song. It okay, and this is way out there, but I was thinking about it the other day when I was listening, because I was listening to this album track after track, back to back, over and over.
Get ready for the episode.
Well, just because it was on in my car, and I was listening to it while I was driving, and listening to that song, I felt like it was like a really raunchy version of Beth.
Yeah.
And to me, that's
yeah.
She's missing him. It's the same old thing going around and around. He comes, he goes. She doesn't know where he is. Blah blah blah. But it's my least favorite, and I say least favorite because it's still in that favorite category.
Right.
Do you know which song was played the least?
Oh man, On With the Show.
No.
Come On and Dance.
It was.
Okay, that was my other one. I just wasn't sure.
16 times. They played it 16 times that year.
So check this out. Another little tidbit information. The album cover of Vince's torso, his crotch.
That's Vince?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. But that there's ripping off the Rolling Stones Sticky Fingers.
Yeah. So thinking about that album. And you know what the trend for the last, I don't know, it hasn't happened. I haven't seen it in the last little while, but a couple of years ago, there was a big thing going on where you'd have your kids recreate the photos of the past.
Okay.
Do you think Vince Neil could do that photo?
Well, that's weird. Made you think of that. That's funny.
I don't know why, but
I don't think he'd get the handcuffs, like the belt and the handcuffs thing on anymore.
Yeah.
No,
it would definitely be a different look, but
that's a good point though. Like your heroes, you always expect them a certain way to stay a certain way, and everybody ages, and that's cool.
Absolutely.
But you feel like as long as they could still carry the pose and keep a certain appearance up, then you still support the band. But when they start letting their vocals slide and get lazy, and the health department kind of takes a dive,
yeah, there's every band will have their ups and downs. Every member will have its ups and downs, and we'll probably talk about another band of that nature in the future. But it just kind of brings me to a guy like Stephen Percy from R.A.R.E, where you look at him and he's definitely had his ups and downs, and he's battled, he's had his own health issues, drug addictions, and whatnot, but he still looks the part. Like when you look at him coming down the street, he just looks like a really aged rocker. Yeah, but he can really bring it to the table. So. But again, everyone's different. And
he stayed very creative with all his projects and stuff, kind of like Nikki Sixx and Paul Stanley. So there's something to that, staying busy with these guys, and So, do you want to hear a little snippet more of the?
Sure.
Yes Festival. All right. Here's a little more from this. Obviously live and very raw. So, I gotta say something. I'll see people post online like, "Oh, Motley Crue, like they sound kind of rough live and blah blah blah." They always did. They always sounded empty. They always sounded kind of loose and messy. That was their thing.
You are exactly right, and I've seen them a number of times, and he's never been you can't put him up against a guy like I don't know, Freddie Mercury or something like that.
No, that's not his thing.
He's got a presence on stage, but he doesn't have the vocal range and ability.
No,
but he still brings it to the table. As he got older. Obviously, with any artist, you're going to get that same thing. You don't have a lot of artists nowadays that are full of energy, running back and forth. I mean, you got like a Bruce Dickinson, he still runs back and forth across the stage like, he's running a marathon and whatnot, and he can still produce a larger sound.
It's a conviction. When they bring the conviction, it's...
But there's so many other factors involved. So, but you're right. He has never been like record quality live.
But his voice, there's something about it. It just cuts through. It's very unique. And his solo stuff, I loved his voice his voice peaked on like Exposed.
Oh, absolutely. When he was in the 90s, early 90s, he was at the top of his game.
Yeah, his voice sounded
absolutely.
Awesome. Yeah.
And every member, and I am still waiting to hear Mick Mars's solo album material.
That would be awesome.
But every member has had, varying degrees of success. But they wouldn't have been able to get to where they are now without this album.
That's right.
This is what.
And a lot of people think Mick Mars carried the band in a lot of ways. He's the kind of unsung hero of Motley Crue. So.
Well, you got that bigger brother that kind of wrangles them together.
Yeah.
And I seem to recall when we used to watch the videos, he was always the one talking about guns.
Yeah, he's a little nuts.
I have a feeling that probably played a part in them listening to him a little bit, because he had that little crazed...
Yeah, so let's check out a little snippet more of Live Wire, and then we'll play it out from here. Never seen that mic style before.
So, definitely not. They're lip syncing in these videos, obviously. I would like to be in a session watching them sing this while the video is playing.
Yeah,
like to see how tired they are at the end of it. At the end of the video, like, are they out of breath? Is he
slow mo?
Yeah. The effects are amazing.
That's kind of a nice central part, though.
Oh, wait a second here.
They bring it all down. That cowbell again. He's on chains. He's got the chains on him.
A sword with a flame lighting up his legs.
I mean, it's cool, though. I mean, it worked. You know what's funny about Nikki Sixx back then? He wasn't to me, he was still like black-haired member. He was just back there. He had more of a Joan Jett kind of thing going on, and it's later on he starts to come more to the forefront. Obviously, he's important in the video, but
yeah, it's like every band needs a spokesperson.
Yeah,
and it's funny you mentioned that, because when we were watching and getting ready for this, we watched a few extra clips, and if you see the progression of Nikki Sixx in particular, you look at some of his earliest interviews, he's on something, or he's just really slow in speaking.
It's not shout with the devil. It's shout at the devil. Brilliant.
yeah. He's very breathy. It's like, take the gum out of your mouth, dude. Yeah. And then you look at him now, and he's like Sixth Sense. He's got his own radio show, or he had his own radio show.
No, he's built a great life for himself.
He's definitely become the spokesperson of the band.
Oh,
And in his own right. I mean, he's got a lot going for him. And of course, they're all full of themselves, so I'm not going to go there. But,
so, final thoughts on the Too Fast for Love? I mean, one of your more beloved Motley albums, or
you know what? Hard to say. Is it one of my favorite? It's definitely one of my most listened to.
Yeah.
But I got to say, Theater of Pain was probably my favorite.
Yeah.
Which goes against the grain for most Motley fans.
But great drum sound.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I loved it. To me, it was almost like a concept album, although I know it wasn't. Mm-hmm. I just loved the energy it brought. It was smooth. It was more bluesy.
Oh yeah, it was.
I really enjoyed it. So much so that I got it tattooed on my arm.
I feel like after Theater of Pain, when they went Girls, 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 they were trying to get back to Too Fast for Love.
Yeah.
In a way.
Yeah.
In a way, like those albums are kind of brother sister albums, and Shout and Theater are kind of brother sister albums.
Yeah. Yeah, I could see that. But so going back to your original question, it is, I would say, one of the albums that I still listen to back or front to back.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's simply because, well, with iTunes or Apple Music and Spotify, you can do that kind of stuff. But it is, it takes me back to a place back. It's very nostalgic. And that era, even though it was earlier on than when I got into them, it's there's something simple about the music.
That's what it is. It's like it's like a simpler time. It's like when Friday night rolled around and you put on your best, whatever, jeans, leather jacket, and you went out to whatever, raise some hell, and like. When I put that on and I want a little mood boost or something, but in a simple way, like, take on the night, like, let's go, and blah, blah, blah. I think that's why I love it for the gym and running and stuff like that. So.
I want to bang on rubber tires. I want to crush a cowbell in a park.
There you go.
Yeah, I want to sign autographs.
You can afford real drums now, at least.
Yeah.
So, Too Fast for Love, great album by a legendary band. Are Crew in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
No. Not at all.
Typical.
So, can I add a couple of things?
Yeah, please.
Okay. Just because this has been bugging me.
Okay.
Upon doing the research, looking at Too Fast for Love, went platinum, sold 1 million albums.
Nice.
1 million plus.
Good for them.
And we talked about this before too. On its release date, the other album that was released on that date, same date, Kiss, Music from the Elder.
Oh,
yeah.
Corporate rock
did not fare out well.
Yeah, band
did not
on
sell.
Its lull, band on its lean years, and band being fresh and oh my god, edgy and new. Yeah.
And that same week, Iron Maiden and Black Sabbath. Iron Maiden put out Killers, and Black Sabbath put out Mob Rules. So some pretty iconic bands, all within a time span, and shy of Iron Maiden, who did just over almost 1.2 million albums sold. Motley Crue was the second of those four.
Wow!
So it's pretty impressive.
Very impressive
for a sophomore or for
very
the first album to come out and surpass Black Sabbath and Kiss, we know that Kiss and them were on
on
the way down anyway. But
yeah, they had that clout coming off the Sunset Strip, and they had been starting to get known, and they were doing some heavy touring up the coast. So yeah, that probably helped.
But on that same note, that same year, the #1 selling album, Queen, greatest hits, 25 million albums.
That's Queen.
Yeah,
I mean, they're the.
And then Phil Collins, Men at Work, Foreigner, they're all way up there. Motley Crue is like
Motley Crue were
bottom feeding.
Just getting into
Look at them now.
Just getting into their drugs.
Filling stadiums with Def Leppard, Poison, and Joan Jett.
I mean, it pays to be infamous, I guess.
Yeah.
Let's have an OD. No, just kidding. All right, guys. So that wraps up our episode. If you liked anything you heard, if you got any ideas for next album reviews, yes, don't forget. Like, subscribe, and turn on that notification bell. So we're going to be doing these very frequently. So yeah, that's Motley Crue, Too Fast for Love. Check it out, and let us know in the comments any albums you want us to react to.
Likes, dislikes, bring it on.
All right.
Peace.